DreAllDay.com.
Before we start, please like and comment on this video so I can get your feedback. Also, click that subscribe button so you can get all the new content I'm dropping on this channel. And the free book, the mental handbook, physical book, Work on Your Game University, just take care of the shipping and handling, send this right to your doorstep. Let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. Today, we are back. NBA 2017 team-by-team season previews. We are talking the Oklahoma City Thunder. And we know what happened with the Oklahoma City Thunder this offseason. We're going to look at their roster. We know that Kevin Durant is gone, but let's talk about who's still on the team or who's going to be on the team this upcoming season. Steven Adams, only 23 years old. This is still a relatively young team overall. Steven Adams, only 23 years old. I think he's a centerpiece, not the centerpiece, but a piece, a centerpiece of this team moving forward. I didn't know he was only 23. Nick Collison, the veteran who's been with this organization his whole career, 35 years old. Let's see. Ersan Ilyasova's on the roster. I don't know if he was on there last year or if he just came in this year. Enes Kanter, he's only 24 himself. Another big guy to go with the Twin Towers that they got between Steven Adams and Enes Kanter. Mitch McGary, who played, he got some minutes 2 years ago. I didn't really see him much this past off season, so I don't know. Maybe he played more in the regular season. Didn't see too much of him. I know he's facing a suspension to start the season for whatever reason. Nazir Muhammad, veteran present, 39 years old, veteran presence. Anthony Morrow, great outside shooter at the 2 guard. Vic Oladipo, new pickup, only 24 years old, 6'4" combo guard, more of a shooting guard, I'd say. Cameron Payne, coming off the bench for OKC. He's Russell Westbrook's pregame dance ritual partner. That's what I know him best as. Andre Robertson, he's only 24 years old. Domantas Sabonis, 20 years old, out of the country of, no, not the country, the school of Gonzaga. I thought they said country. Kyle Singler, we know Kyle Singler, and Russell Westbrook, 27 years old. He is the key, the main piece of this team. Enes Kanter is the only other guy on this team making over $10 million a year. He's at 17. Russell's at 26 million. What do we see happening with this team? So we know what happened last year. They had Kevin Durant. They were the second best team in the Western Conference. They beat the Spurs in the second round. I didn't think they would beat the Spurs. I thought the Spurs would beat them, but they pretty much crushed the Spurs after the first 4 games of that series, or first 3 or 4 games of that series. They went in and just killed the Spurs once they unleashed, Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook to do their thing, and unleashed KD a lot defensively in the Golden State series. But Kevin Durant left. And Russell Westbrook was saying that he didn't even hear from Kevin Durant in the last days leading up to KD's decision to sign with Golden State, that KD didn't even hit him back, wasn't even responding to his messages, didn't say nothing to him. And Russ found out that KD had chosen Golden State, indeed chose Golden State through the media, the same way that everybody else did. I think that's kind of dirty that those guys played together for so many years and KD couldn't even say, hey, this is what I'm going to do. But no, he's his own man. He can do what he want to do. But anyway, let's talk about what the Oklahoma City Thunder has now and what's going to happen moving forward. I think with a new young coach, young to the NBA at least, and Billy Donovan, and the very young roster that they have, Russell Westbrook's only 27, you could say that he hasn't even entered his prime yet. We don't know. We'll see moving forward. But Russell Westbrook being the centerpiece of this team, then you got all these young guys, Kanter at 24, Steven Adams 23, Robertson 24. They got a lot of young guys on this team. They got a few veterans in place. I think they are positioned for growth, but they do need another piece if they're going to be a serious playoff team. I'm not even going to call them a contender, but just to be a serious playoff team, they're going to need another piece on this team. Someone else who can take the ball and actually make things happen. The only player they have on this team who can make things happen with the ball is Russell Westbrook. Now, Enes Kanter can finish. Steven Adams can finish. Anthony Morrow can hit the threes. Robertson can finish with the dunks. I don't know who, but nobody else on this team can take the ball and just go make something happen with the ball. They don't have anybody on the team besides Russ who can do that, which means Russell Westbrook's going to get to go crazy this upcoming season. It's going to be fun to watch as a fan, but it's not going to be fun for the team when it comes to winning and losing. It ain't going to be fun for Russ if what he cares about is winning and losing. I'm not sure it's going to be too fun for him because he's going to get crazy stats and he's going to be putting out a ton of energy. He'll probably have the highest usage rate in the NBA. He may have the highest PER in the NBA. He might lead the NBA in scoring. I think his overall stats, points, rebound, assist numbers are going to look video game-like over 82 games. He may even contend for getting the MVP, but I don't think he'll win it because the team's not going to be competitive enough as far as wins and losses. And that may frustrate him if he really cares about winning more than he cares about stats, which I think he does. He's going to put up crazy stats. Russ, I say he's going to average 30 points a game. Assist-wise, he should be up in the 8 to 9 assists per game range because he don't have the ball so often. And as far as rebounding, I say he could get in the 8 rebound per game range also. I think he can average 38 and 8 this season, which will be, again, great to watch. Great for the highlights. He's going to have crazy YouTube montages at the end of the season, but this team is not going to be successful, and I think it's going to frustrate him that he's putting up these crazy stats, doing these great things that he's doing, but the team is not actually competing and winning any games winning games to put them in a real conversation of being a serious team. So if the roster stays as it is coming into this season, looking at that roster that I just went over with all of you, this team, I think, will make the playoffs because Russell Westbrook is one of the top 5 players in the world. So I think they can win about 45 games. I'm going to say they win 45 games with this roster. With those 45 wins, they will probably face a top 3 team in the first round of Western Conference, and they're going to lose. They're going to lose in the first round of playoffs, probably as a 6, 7, or 8 seed. They're going to need to make some changes in the offseason. They need to add a piece. They need a piece. I've heard Blake Griffin's name floated often for OKC because Blake Griffin's from Oklahoma. I think he'd be a perfect fit with somebody like Russell Westbrook. I'm not sure who'd be the perfect fit with Russell Westbrook, but I think he'd be a better fit with Blake would fit better with Russ than Blake fits with Chris Paul. And I'm not sure that Blake would be a better fit with Russ than Kevin Durant because Kevin Durant's too damn good. I think he'd fit pretty well with any team, but I think they'd be a good fit together. Blake and Russell Westbrook. I think they will work together well. But we don't know. It hasn't actually happened, so we ain't going to spend too much time talking about that. But a change is in order. Maybe it'll happen during the season. Maybe OKC makes some kind of trade during the season. They need draft picks. They need to get themselves to the top of the draft again. They're not going to get there with Russell Westbrook on the team because he's too good for them to end up as a lottery team or a bad lottery team. They either need to trade Russ so they can get a high draft pick and start all over, or since I think Russ re-signed for more years, so I think Russ is going to stay there. They need to add a piece, somehow, some way add a piece, probably through a trade. Likely it's not going to happen through the draft. I don't think any of the players that they have is going to blossom into that second star guy to go next to Russell Westbrook. So some change has to be made somehow, some way. So first round team, they lose in the first round. It's pretty much all I can say about Oklahoma City. I don't know if there's anything that I'm missing with this team. I think they had a very close to title contention team last year. They went all the way. They was up 3-2 on the Golden State Warriors, the reigning champions last year in the playoffs. Ended up losing those last 2 games. The Klay Thompson Game 6 where he just caught fire. And then in Game 7 when OKC just couldn't get it done. It really surprised me that Kevin Durant left after they were right there on the doorstep of being in the NBA Finals, that they could have won going against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And then, of course, he goes and signs with the team to just beat them. But we'll talk about that when we get to the Golden State Warriors. But that's all I got to say about OKC. Any of you got any insights, any info that I didn't share that you think is pertinent to the success of this team? Where do you think they're going to be wins, losses wise? What do you think Russell Westbrook will do this upcoming season? What do you think about the roster that they have? Do they have a budding star, number 2 star next to Russ? I know Oladipo is great. Maybe Vic Oladipo could be that guy. That's a guy who may possibly be that guy. Serge Ibaka also gone from this team in the Vic Oladipo trade. But all of you tell me, who do you think is that next star on OKC? Is he already on the roster, or is it someone who has to come in from the outside? What do you think about Blake Griffin possibly being on this team? And what do you see this team doing moving forward? Is it going to be a trade, or are they just going to tread water as they are? Let me know. I think this is a team that is proactive in doing things with their players. They were proactive with James Harden. They were proactive with even KD and Russ. They were proactive in re-signing Russ. Now that KD's gone, they tried to get KD. He didn't want to come back. So I think this is a team that will make moves when they see moves need to be made. They're not going to sit around and just hope he gets better like the Clippers with Doc Rivers as the coach and GM at the same time. That ain't working. But everybody, that's it for OKC. The next team we are going to talk about, I should know this now since we're in the top 5 of teams in the league, I believe is going to be the Toronto Raptors. My iPad just overheated. See, that's what happens when you sit the iPad out in the Miami sun. But the Toronto Raptors, so we have 5 teams left. It was Clippers was the, I think, number 5, maybe number 6. So we had OKC, Toronto, Spurs, Cavs, and Warriors. So the next team is the Toronto Raptors we'll be talking about. I will see y'all tomorrow with that preview. Leave your comments on this one. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com.